Inter-Ministerial Task Team that's coordinating the coronation of AmaZulu King, Misuzulu kaZwelithini, says it's doing its final touch-ups. The team, led by Cocta Minister Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, today visited the Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban, the site that's been selected for the coronation. King Misuzulu will officially be handed the certificate of recognition of his rule on the 29th of October. Our reporter Lethiwe Mdluli earlier was at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. She now joins us from our Durban studios just to give us a sense about what is happening. Good afternoon, Lethiwe. Is it all systems go? You know the old cliche. I wonder what the task team is saying.
Well, it looks like everything is ready for the 29th of October, Braden, because it's only 11 days until that big day. We met up with the Inter-Ministerial Task Team that has been coordinating this event, and what they're telling us is that they are ready, but of course, they are still planning as to what actually is going to happen on the 29th. We do understand that we are expecting about 48,000 people to be a part of the ceremony. The leader of the task team, Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, did share a bit more details about this event, saying that 48,000 people are expected on the 29th. She also did say that for now, they are still planning as to what exactly is going to happen, who's going to be performing, who we can expect during that ceremony. They did not want to share as to who's going to be joining into the ceremony, but we do know that the president will be there. A lot of dignitaries, international dignitaries, are also going to be a part of that ceremony. This is the first time in years that we're going to be seeing the coronation of the AmaZulu King. The last time we actually saw a coronation was back in 1971, where King kaZwelithini was coronated and he took over the throne. This is now the coronation of King Misuzulu kaZwelithini, and we do expect for about 48,000 people to join in. This is going to be bigger than the last coronation, because on that coronation back in 1971, we saw 20,000 people being a part of the ceremony in Nongoma. We did speak to the leader of the task team a bit earlier on, Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, about the planning and also some of the security that they're going to be providing and how many people they're actually going to be expecting. And this is what she had to share a bit earlier on.
The capacity of the stadium is going to be 48,000 because there'll be a stage which will then kill some of those seats that are behind the stage. So it will be 48,000 people in the stadium. And those people will consist of the king and his guests. Some may be international guests, local guests, the royal family. The president will be here, so there'll also be people from the state, the judges, so the judiciary, some representatives maybe from parliament, there are parliamentarians who come from here and elsewhere, and then there'll be members of the public.
Lethiwe, I think the country is going to be glued to TV screens, hopefully on ENCA come the 29th for this coronation. But are there any security concerns?
Well, but then there are some security concerns, because you'd remember the history of what happened within the royal family over the past year. There is a faction of the family that does not believe that King Misuzulu or King Misuzulu kaZwelithini rather is the right person to ascend to the throne. So there's been those fights that have been happening within the royal family. We've seen some members going to the courts, turning to the courts for answers. So there is a bit of concern that there might be security, that there might be people who are going to be protesting outside the stadium or within the stadium. We did pose this question to Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, but she did not want to elaborate further, just saying that, of course, there's going to be security detail for that day, much like any other events. She did say that they're not expecting for anything to happen, but we posed that question because of the infighting that we've seen happening within the royal family. And we've seen during the past month, during the Reed dance, where the other faction did not want King Misuzulu kaZwelithini to take part in that ceremony, and there were a bit of infighting that carried on. So for the 29th, there are concerns, but the Inter-Ministerial Task Team that's been coordinating this event is saying that there's going to be intensified police presence, because also there's going to be international dignitaries and also other heads of states, which of course means that there's going to be intensified security during that day.
Okay, thank you very much, Letewe Mdluli, for that update about the preparations for the official ascendancy to the throne in terms of receiving that certificate of recognition from government of King Misuzulu kaZwelithini. That's coming up on the 29th of October. It's going to take place at the Moses Mabhida Stadium at eThekwini.